My best friend pretended to be my friend for years just to sleep with me. We met in college while living in the same shared house. The rent was cheap and everyone was broke, so about 15 men and women lived there. It was honestly a hellscape. The house was dirty and poorly maintained, but the people were nice and I made some really good friends there. One of them was Mike. I didn't feel a romantic connection, so I wasn't interested in him in that way. Still, since we lived together and attended the same college, we spent a lot of time together, grew close, and eventually became best friends. Over the next 5 years, we both dated other people and were always comfortable talking openly about our relationships. Mike never behaved inappropriately towards me and never crossed boundaries with his girlfriends. He was loyal, respectful, and a genuinely good person. That said, there were 2 moments when he showed romantic interest. When we first met, he flirted with me once, but I didn't reciprocate. Later, after I ended a 2-year relationship, about 4 years into our friendship, he flirted with me once again. This time, I turned him down more firmly. I wasn't unkind, but I wanted to be very clear so that there would be no false hope or confusion. That 2-year relationship breakup was very difficult, and I needed a lot of therapy afterward. Honestly, that was the main reason I turned Mike down. I had just come out of a bad relationship and didn't want to jump into another one. That wouldn't be smart or healthy. That was over 1 year ago. I've been single for quite some time now and haven't been casually dating either. I used this time to heal and grow. Which brings me to this past week. Mike and I have been talking every day, without fail, for over a year. We talk only through messages and calls since we now live very far apart. He decided to come visit me. I was really happy about it. I offered him to stay at my place to save money. I live alone and have space, so I prepared a spare bed for him before he arrived. When he got here, it wasn't awkward at all. We've known each other for 5 years and have been best friends for most of that time, but as New Year's Eve approached, he asked if he could kiss me. This time, I felt like I was in a place in my life where I could trust again. I had known Mike for years, and I believed he wouldn't hurt me, so I said yes, and we kissed. We are older and more mature now, so the kiss naturally evolved into something more intimate. During the rest of his visit, we shared a very personal and intimate experience. We slept in the same bed, took showers together, watched movies cuddling, and even went to the movies holding each other the entire time. It felt natural, personal, and cozy. Then his visit ended, and he went back home. I wasn't expecting a full-blown relationship or even a friends with benefits situation. I simply expected us to talk about what had happened and figure out what it meant or where we should go from there. But now he doesn't reply to my messages anymore. We used to talk every day for hours, and now there is only silence. In the comments, Sufficient Ad says, "I'm not convinced the silence is because he pretended to be your friend for 5 years. Even talking every day for a year, solely to sleep with you once. That doesn't make sense. That's way too much time and effort. Also, people cannot consistently fake who they are and their intentions for that long, with that much communication, without occasionally slipping up and showing cracks in the mask. You said he was loyal, respectful, and a genuinely good person that entire time. In my opinion, it's likely to be a more complicated and deeper attachment, psychological as well as physical. It's hard to know the exact reason for the silence. It could be that he thought that he wanted the hookup, but then afterwards panicked and felt overwhelmed by the situation and how it escalated into the closeness that you described. It could be that he wanted to be more of a friends with benefits situation and not a relationship, and is avoiding you because he's scared that you're going to want more. It could be that he wants more, but is scared to ask in case you reject him. It could be that he currently is in a relationship or a dating situation with someone else, and he has cheated on them with you, and the silence is regret and guilt. Sadly, none of that helps with dealing with the situation on your end if he won't communicate. I'm sorry that you're going through this." OP replies, "I'm sure he's not a cheater, and everything was very mutual, often initiated by him. That's why the ghosting is so confusing. Thanks for your input." So, why didn't you bring this up directly the next day? OP says, he was on the road the next day, so I wanted to give him space. But then he started ignoring me afterward as well. Take it from a guy, if he only wanted to fuck you, he wouldn't have stuck around for 5 years. Only fictional characters are that desperate. Consider that he may be a human being that needs time to process before you jump to conclusions. Stop feeding off Hollywood and internet tropes and treat him like a person. He did the same for you for 5 years? OP says, that's a good point. Thank you. I feel like the most likely case is that he's just ghosting you here. It's a shitty thing to do, but it wouldn't be the first time. I am also considering that he may be a human being that needs time to process, and that he's given her that respect, she should give him that respect back. But unfortunately, not everyone is perfect at communicating what's going on, what they're feeling, why they're feeling that way, what they would like from the situation going forward. Sometimes you do just have messy situations like this, where the song "I Want to Ruin Our Friendship, We Should Be Lovers Instead" comes up, and then this happens. I really think that he's just avoiding a tough talk and doesn't just want to tell her, hey, that was just a fun weekend, we were just hooking up, but we're still friends. Thumbs up emoji. It's not a good look, it doesn't feel good to say something like that, but that's truly how I feel he's feeling. But avoidance is not the answer, ghosting is not cool, especially in situations like this. Maybe other situations I can give it a green light. And now, on to the update. So a lot of people asked for an update, and I didn't think that there would be one for a few more days. But here it is, the final outcome. Mike messaged me. He sent a text like usual, completely ignoring the ghosting and everything that had happened between us. I replied normally, and we talked a bit about nothing in particular. I was at work at the time, so I waited until I got home to ask him directly what was going on. When I got home, I sent him a message saying that I felt like he had been avoiding me. He replied that he wasn't avoiding me, that he was just busy playing games and forgot to talk to me. He also said that he didn't think the vibe between us was weird or different. I then asked him what our week together had meant to him. He said that it was just a couple of friends having fun and nothing more. He doesn't want anything romantic with me. So yeah, this isn't the happiest update, but it's definitely the most realistic one. Thank you to everyone who left comments on my previous post. He wasn't cheating with me like many of you suggested, and he wasn't confused in sorting out his feelings either. We're still friends, and I meant what I said before. I'm just glad that he didn't disappear completely. He's still my friend, and I respect his decision. I can't put the link to the original post here. Ask in the comments if you're confused. In the comments, Rana Air says, oof. This is one where I don't think the relationship will be back to what it was. I wouldn't want a friend like that. He's not a friend, and he was testing the waters. He used his best friend, and I can't imagine wanting anything to do with this person. When you get intimate with someone, you show them a different side of yourself. You're revealing something that can't just be put back into a box. He wants it to go back to the way that it was because he doesn't want anything else from the experience other than what he got, and that's just shitty. He should have had the balls to say something, not spend a whole weekend and then some afterwards to initiate contact. I would defriend this person and move on. That's a wild twist. I hope you're doing okay after all that. OP says, I'm fine. Just a little bummed out. I feel like I may have read too much into our week together, but then I remember how many times he called me love, and I realized that maybe he was just playing, and that it's not my fault for reading into it. Well, that's an awful nice way to say that he was being manipulative. Quote, we're older and more mature now, so the kiss naturally evolved into something more intimate. Wait, what? Okay, was somebody gonna tell me what age we stop being allowed to kiss without fucking? Because I've been playing that by ear basically my whole grown life, and I need to know if it's somebody's job to write me a ticket. It's less a line graph and more a bell curve, because you probably don't want to imagine your parents fucking every time they have a kiss either, so whatever age you are now is the top of the curve, and whatever age one of them is at the lower end of it. It's a rolling scale. She may be more mature, but he's not. He really was only interested when he couldn't have her, and when he got her, he wasn't interested. OP can't see it, and it's gonna break her a little more when she does. She's definitely not. A year out from a terrible breakup that put her in therapy, but she's been talking to this dude daily. She should stop talking to Mike and increase her therapy visits. Yeah, I tend to agree with that one. I think the friendship should be over, but the way that OP is talking, yikes, please, OP, end that friendship. That's not healthy for you. That wasn't friends having fun. Don't let Mike gaslight you. Friends don't disappear after an intimate weekend like that, then minimize it, and then shrug it off and say, I was busy gaming, what are you gonna do? He got all the benefits on his end and on his terms, and then just discarded the friend part. And I guess, in his own reality, nothing actually has changed. Everything is the way that it was because he can delude himself that weekend meant nothing. But OP can't because she's not the same person as him. Him calling you love and doing all of those affectionate things was not platonic. And I don't know why he couldn't respect you enough to be honest before or at least immediately after all of this happened. That should be the friendship killer. Please do listen to the comments and end whatever is going on between you guys, OP. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your story to the internet. And thank you for the update. Our next post is by user LukeProblem135, and it's titled, Am I the arsehole for telling my parents that I won't attend their Christmas celebration until they send my husband a separate invitation? I'll preface this by saying that my husband Luke, male 32, does not get along with my parents. You can't tell who's right or who's wrong. There's always this ongoing tension between them, but can be civil enough to sit together at one table. I recently got an invitation for Christmas celebration from my parents. The invitation included me and Luke, but Luke thought this was somewhat rude and disrespectful because he believes he should get his own invitation and not have his name mentioned as an extension to mine. We talked, and he said that he wouldn't go unless they send him a proper invitation. I called Mum and asked if she could do it. She thought it was ridiculous and said that she and Dad did the same with my sister and her husband. I told her it was fine, but Luke can be sensitive like that, and so a simple invitation in the form of a text directly to him will fix it. She got defensive and said that Luke is being ridiculous. Dad claimed that Luke is trying to pull some power move to humiliate them, but I thought this was a small issue. They still thought that it was ridiculous, so I told them that I won't attend if they don't send him a separate invitation because he won't attend if he doesn't get it. This blew up, and my sister started arguing, saying that Luke needs to get over himself, and shamed me for trying to force our parents to send him an invitation by saying that I won't come if they don't. We haven't talked after that, and we're waiting as of now. In the comments, Luke is the arsehole, and you're the arsehole for condoning it. When you're married, you don't get separate invitations. Your mum called and said, I hope you guys can come for Christmas, or we're looking forward to seeing you at Christmas. That is the royal you, not just you, OP. Question: if a friend issued the same invitation as your mum did, would Luke be kicking up a fuss, or would he just go? This isn't about the invitation. Luke just doesn't want to go. Your choice is to stay with him or go without him. But your parents don't have to issue Luke Wubby his own special private invitation. And think hard. Is this really the only time he kicks up a fuss, or do you tiptoe around a lot of things? Be honest. OP says, I'd say that due to their constant disagreements, Luke has become so sensitive towards my parents to the point where he would take anything they do as a slight against him. It's exhausting trying to keep the peace between them and trying to get them to see eye to eye. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Another commenter says, quote, did the same with my sister and her husband. If this is true, you and your husband are most certainly the arsehole. Perhaps your husband needs to stop being so overly dramatic. Becoming so hurt over his name included on an invitation sounds like he just loves stirring up unnecessary drama. OP replies, I don't know if it's true or not. My sister never mentioned it, just shamed me and told Luke to get over himself. I want to know how Opie and Luke sent out their wedding invitations. Did every person invited get their own? Were they sent to couples? Once they knew the names of the plus ones, did they send invitations directly to them as well? Opie, you're the assholes. Yeah, I laughed out loud that they can't tell who the problem is. The problem is Luke. This is not a two-sided issue. He is isolating OP, who is so used to tiptoeing around him and his nonsense that she can't tell where the problem began. Right? They say they can't tell who the problem is, yet they named their throwaway account Luke Problem 135. No. You see, Luke is involved in the problem. Luke could never be the problem. That's why I named it that. It's a problem involving Luke. The problem had a separate invitation. I don't understand how OP can see Luke beefing with his parents constantly and genuinely take this situation as being just about the invitations. She's like, oh, he always has to find problems with them. He's always fighting. But man, this invitation thing, that's completely separate, I guess. Luke is intentionally misinterpreting this as a personal slight and now just projecting his hostility. That's all that's going on, OP. But what is concerning is how you're bending yourself into knots to manage his behavior. You're genuinely threatening to skip Christmas just so that you don't cause upset, so that you don't get his reaction to all of this. Oh, what's Luke gonna do? I can't be the voice of reason with him, so I gotta outsource this. Maybe he's not being a lunatic. OP, do you ever have self-reflection in this instance and think, maybe I'm enabling the conflict. Maybe I should have intervened and put a stop to this, like ages ago. Why has it spiraled out of control like this? Have I allowed this to happen between my parents and my husband? And yeah, I get it. You're exhausted. You're stuck. This isn't a two-sided issue. It really boils down to Luke doesn't want to go. He doesn't like your parents. And he's making up a reason to justify not going. But you backing him up here turned what would have been a trivial little issue that could probably have been sorted out into now a giant family blow-up. So yeah, I think you're the asshole here. And now on to the updates. So the invitation that I received was in a text. Luke is saying that a simple text to him will finish the conflict, but my parents still think that it's ridiculous, and they won't invite him since they already have. I just got off the phone with my sister. She told me that our parents have just disinvited me. Luke was probably already disinvited since the argument occurred from the celebration. I feel horrible, but I can't argue anymore. Just like I can't argue about what everybody else in the comments is saying. I admit it. Luke is the problem. He just caused me to be disinvited from the event and is blaming me for it. In the comments, the right response from you should be, Luke, stop being an asshole. These are my parents, and I am going to the party with or without you. You have been invited, so if you choose not to come, that's your choice. But I'm not talking about this again. Luke is a massive asshole, and so are you if you side with him. OP says, I already fought him about it. He's now blaming me after my parents disinvited me and him. He says that I mishandled this and wasn't as assertive as I should have been. Both OP and Luke are the problem. My God. I think OP is more of a victim. Luke is clearly trying to separate her from her family, so she no longer has anyone to tell her that his actions are abusive and shouldn't be tolerated. This is what isolation looks like. Note how OP is doubting herself, thinks that she's the problem, and is ultimately now the one who misses out on the family celebration. My thoughts exactly. OP needs to get out of this marriage before things get worse. I didn't really think about that in the first post, but now it kind of makes sense. I hope that she does see those comments as well, and doesn't just delete her account. Maybe we can find Luke's solution 123 out of all of this. You're the collateral damage of Luke's behavior, but it seems like he's intentionally trying to isolate you and stop you from hearing out other people that could point out that he's being abusive here and intentionally manipulative. His behavior is not normal, and you should not go along with it. You should push back. I fully expected him to just continue being like, your parents are assholes, this, that, and the other, but not having you directly be involved in this. But the fact that he's like turning it on you and saying that it's now your fault, that's crazy. That's not right. Don't listen to him, OP. Also, I don't blame your parents for putting up a boundary and disinviting you, because from their point of view, that's understandable. They kind of got cornered here and bullied once again. But yeah, take this seriously, OP, and recognize that this pattern will repeat. Probably start planning an exit from this relationship you have with this man. I don't think he's good for you. So not the asshole for realizing that maybe it's time to wake up. Our next post is by user DogInMe, titled, I only want one thing for Christmas and it never happens. Am I overreacting? I should start by giving a background as to who I am. I'm 27 years old, I live about an hour from my hometown, and I visit my folks pretty regularly, but especially for holidays. Now, I realize I've lost many of you with my age. I understand that in a large number of families, only kids really get Christmas gifts. And you may be right, but in mine, adults gift to adults, kids gift to kids, kids gift to adults, adults gift to kids. Everybody gets something. Now, I hate telling people what I want for Christmas/birthday stuff. It feels entitled. I know, ironic posting a complaint on Reddit and then saying I'm not entitled to ask for stuff. Since I was 12, I didn't want people to get me birthday gifts or throw me a party, and largely my family respected that. But that still left Christmas. Now, when my grandpa was alive, I remember he would always go to the local European grocery. He was an ethnic Hungarian from Austria and get a few of those chocolate oranges. The big ones you have to smack on the table before opening to get the pieces to separate. He died back in 2017 and I miss him terribly. And every year when my family asks, what do you want for Christmas? I tell them, one of those chocolate oranges like Papa used to get. And they never do it. Now, I know that sounds super silly. Why don't you just get your own damn orange? I don't know. It just isn't the same somehow. It's a thing that I associate with my family just having it home suddenly around Christmas. And I'm chasing that experience. And I know it'll never be the same, but still. I just remember cracking them open with my cousins and walking around the room to all the aunts and uncles going, hey, over here, I'll take a piece. And I just miss that a whole lot. Every year, what do you want for Christmas? Chocolate orange. And every year, no chocolate orange. Literally the only thing I ask for. And I know I shouldn't be upset about it. There are people who don't even get a decent meal on Christmas, let alone presents, but somehow, year after year, I get a few Temu or Five Below things, which will be thrown out pretty much as fast as they came in. And I question, well, why the hell didn't they just get the damn orange? It would have cost less, been more appreciated, and been consumed only marginally faster than the other junk. It's literally the only thing I ask for. This year, I've got my dad a new seat cover and slow-moving vehicle triangle for his tractor. I got my brother, who just started college, a used folding bike and replaced the tires, grips, greased the chain, etc. because he doesn't want to bring his bike from home up and have it stolen. I got a few jigsaw puzzles for my stepmom. She likes to do them, and a set of Lincoln logs for my cousin's kids. And I'm excited to watch them open the presents I got them. And I'm sure whatever they got me will be great. But I just get so disappointed every year when there is no damn orange. And this is 8 years since Papa died. And well, I don't know. There's nothing really significant about 8 years, but I'm just certain that come Christmas morning, if there's no damn orange, I'm gonna lose it. In the comments, General Visual says, may I gently suggest you restart the tradition? Get some for either your close family members or the kids or whoever, and do it every year. Then you can enjoy carrying on a tradition to honor your grandfather. I can't say that you're overreacting or not, but you can make it into something nice. Exactly. Buy your own oranges and take them to Christmas. Don't dwell on it. You're not wrong to be bothered about it, but let it go. Enjoy them with your family. You can now carry this precious memory on. When people ask, you can say, oh, it's just what my grandpa used to do every year. Who knows how many others might pick it up? My family now celebrates Filipino style because of our beloved chosen family. I tell everyone about it, and I like to think that they are still with me. You are now the magic holder for your nieces and nephews. You bring chocolate oranges for the kids every year. You relish in the memories. There's only one rule. We don't share these with the adults. And when you shop at the same grocery store, you can graze your hands over the oranges and imagine your grandfather doing the same. This is how you connect with who you're really missing. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see why you have to be continuously letting yourself down because others are not doing this chocolate orange tradition. It seems like you're the only one that cares about it, so why not be the change that you want to see in the world? Like, you're not overreacting at all, and I don't think anyone is an asshole in this situation. You're just asking for a symbol of your grandpa, and you want to feel that family connection. I can't blame you for that. And obviously, what they're hearing when you ask for the chocolate orange is some throwaway, low-stakes kind of non-answer, because they don't value the chocolate orange tradition. It's been 8 years, I guess 9 years now, since he's passed away. You'd assume that if it mattered, it would have come up at least once or twice, but no. And I can see it from their side as well. Why wouldn't they just assume, oh, he keeps mentioning it, he'll just buy it himself? I can't blame them for thinking that. Take the suggestions in the comments. Bring your own Christmas magic. You can continue it and start this new tradition. You don't have to wait for others after they continuously ignore your request. That's just stupid. And now, onto the update. Hello all. I hope everybody had a nice set of holidays and is enjoying the new year. Many of you replied to my previous post regarding my frustration at not receiving a chocolate orange for Christmas. If that sounds stupid, it's because it kind of is, but you can read the original post here for context. I just wanted to update everybody on how it all shook out. Well, my dad and my mum both really enjoyed the gifts I got them. My cousin's kids chose my Lincoln Logs gift as the one that they wanted to open and play with at the family gathering, over and above a set of small trucks that look like dinosaurs, which all park on a large dinosaur truck. High praise. My brother, well, he didn't like the bike much, I guess. Mr. Hey, I want to explore the city more, I don't want to bring my bike up in case it gets stolen, suddenly wasn't so interested in a non-stealable bike that he could explore the city on. Later had the gall to say to us, I just wish I'd gotten something practical, as though he hadn't just gotten the most practical thing that any college student could have. Anyway, you can't win 'em all. A few days before Christmas, my folks and I were in Target, and I saw the chocolate oranges. I pointed them out, and was met with a, yuck, who likes those? So that was about as fun as you'd imagine. Now, many of you suggested, rightly, that I just become the relative who brings chocolate oranges for the kids, and so I did. It was really a very food memories-centric celebration this year. I gave the kids the oranges just the way they were. Dark chocolate, orange flavor. Kinda gross to the kids, but the sort of thing they came back for more of after a few minutes. Fond memories from the adults. My uncle brought relish sandwiches, following a discussion about having fed my dad those when tasked with watching him as a kid. Yep, just white bread with hot dog relish on it. We had a great time, and I've become the weird relative who brings candy that isn't that great, but which you come to associate with Christmas time forever. As for me, doesn't really matter what I got. A few cans of rust remover spray. On account of my nearly 26-year-old car, it's a little rusty in places. A tube of Twix bars, and a pizza pizzazz from the White Elephant. I got to see some kids who were going through their parents' divorce's eyes light up when they opened a box I gave them. Got to remember being that young, got to remember my own grandfather for a little while. All in all, you gave great advice, and I feel quite a bit more at peace with the whole thing. Thank you all for that. In the comments, it's a really hard moment when you realize you're no longer in the pool of people who have a magical Christmas made for them, and you are now the magic maker. But OP sounds like they have good instincts and the potential to be the relative who makes the memories that another generation will carry on. It's not even that. It's the moment you realize your parents don't listen and will only care how they want to care, not how you need to be cared for. This has come up a number of times at this point. For some of us, that was most of our childhood. Losing my magical aunts and uncles has been hard on me, as a bit of the magic fades each time. Being an adult sucks, but good on OP for continuing the tradition. Actually, being an adult is great because you no longer have to rely on someone else fulfilling your dreams. You can go and fulfill them yourself. Couldn't agree more, and I really do like this ending. Also, the college student with the bike? What is his problem? What an asshole. What else was he expecting as a practical gift? I agree with you, OP. I think that is the most practical gift he could have got. What a dick. Anyway, I don't think you're wrong for still feeling disappointed. The way that your parents reacted to those chocolate oranges, maybe that was the answer you were looking for, OP, where they're like, ew, gross. Who likes those things? I'm glad that you're able to preserve that memory and still have that connection to your grandfather, though. Congratulations on becoming the new person who creates the magic of Christmas. I think that shows some growth. I think you recognize that your previous position was going nowhere, and that with the little kick you got from the comments, you've turned it into something positive and something amazing. And again, thank you so much for that. Now let's hope those kids forever associate Christmas with that weird orange candy. And maybe they will pass it on one day, who knows? And in a way, I guess you've created closure for yourself in this one because, it wasn't about getting what you asked for, but instead, you've carried the meaning forward yourself. You've carried that tradition forward. I hope that is a form of closure that you have been looking for. Thank you for the story, and thank you for the update, OP. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.